some things that start off as jokes, but end up being deadly serious. People love to mock things they don't understand, especially when it comes to ghosts and spirits. Whether you believe in them or not is up to you, but those who don't believe, sometimes they take their mocking way too far. And when they do, well, let's just say the ending isn't pretty for them. They can mock all they want, but only until something real shows up right in front of their faces. And when it does, that's when you're just 2 seconds away from death. Here in America, we've got plenty of abandoned places, old cemeteries, forgotten graveyards that seem empty and harmless during the day. But there's something about darkness that changes everything. The darker it gets, the more likely it is that something else is lurking there. Where you can't see another living soul, well, there might not be any living souls around, but there could definitely be something else entirely. But still, we've got people who love to make fun of all this stuff. Like this kid named Ryan. Ryan was one of those guys who mocked everything supernatural. He was making fun of this particular area in Salem, Massachusetts. There's this old cemetery there. And what happened to him? When did it happen? How did it happen? I'm gonna tell you the whole story right now. But before we dive in, if you want more horror, mystery, and historical content like this, make sure you smash that subscribe button. So this story starts with 3 best friends, Ryan, Tyler, and Jake. These 3 had been tight since childhood, went to school together, college together, did everything as a group. But here's the thing about these guys. They were total adrenaline junkies. Jumping off bridges into rivers, exploring deep forests at midnight, hiking dangerous mountain trails. If it was risky, they were in. And they had one rule: nobody goes alone. If one goes, they all go. One day Tyler was saying, "Dude, I think we've explored every crazy spot in Massachusetts by now. Where the hell do we go next for our next adventure?" That's when Ryan got this look in his eyes and said, "I know a place. You guys might be a little uncomfortable going there, but it's definitely interesting." Tyler and Jake were like, "All right, spill it. Where?" Ryan grinned and said, "Greenlawn Cemetery, the old one on the outskirts of Salem." The other 2 went quiet for a moment. They hadn't heard much about this place specifically, so Tyler pulled out his phone and did a quick Google search. The first thing that popped up? One of the most haunted locations in Massachusetts. Ryan just shrugged and said, "Look, if you guys don't want to go, that's cool. I'll go by myself." Of course, that wasn't happening. Their golden rule was nobody goes solo. If they were doing this, they were all doing it together. But here's where Ryan upped the ante. There's a catch though. We're not just visiting during the day. We're spending the entire night there. The whole damn night. It was around 1:30 a.m. when the 3 friends found themselves standing outside the cemetery gates. Tyler had brought his camera for photos and Ryan had an audio recorder, to catch any ghostly voices or whatever. They were really going all out with this paranormal investigation thing. As they walked through the gates, they could see rows and rows of old headstones stretching out in front of them. The fog was thick, it was freezing cold, and honestly, the whole place had this vibe that just felt wrong. That's when Ryan dropped another bombshell. "Oh, by the way, there's something I didn't mention earlier. This cemetery has this one particular grave belongs to some seriously mysterious dude. Legend says spirits wander around his grave, and they've got it locked down tight with iron gates and barriers. They say if anyone goes inside and messes with it, well, their body gets found right there the next morning. Anyone who tries to disturb it dies on the spot." He paused for dramatic effect, then continued, "I'm thinking tonight we should have ourselves a little competition. We've conquered every other adventure spot, why not this one? Whoever touches that grave first wins." Now Ryan was a smart guy, but he was also incredibly competitive and didn't back down from anything. He was already using his audio recorder, trying to pick up strange sounds, but his real focus was finding that specific grave. Tyler and Jake agreed to the challenge, but they wanted to take it slow. "Dude, we can't just run around in here," Jake said. "It's pitch black, and there are graves everywhere. Even if we don't believe in ghosts, we should still show some respect for the dead." But Ryan, he was having none of it. "Nah, man. I'm gonna book it over there and win this thing." And just like that, he took off running into the darkness, leaving Tyler and Jake standing there completely stunned. Tyler and Jake were left standing there in shock. Their leader, the guy who was always the bravest, had just abandoned them and run off alone. They looked at each other and Tyler said, "Come on, we can't let him go alone. Let's at least follow in the same direction and see what's over there." So they started walking slowly through the cemetery, talking quietly to each other about how scared they were feeling. "Dude, I've never been this freaked out before," Jake whispered. "I keep thinking about all the bodies buried under our feet. What if their spirits really are wandering around here?" Tyler nodded. "Yeah, man, maybe we should just head back." But then Jake cut him off. "No way, Ryan's our friend. We can't just leave him out here alone." Just then, they heard a dog howling in the distance. This long, mournful sound that made everything feel 10 times creepier. "Bro, this is like something straight out of a horror movie," Tyler muttered. "I thought this stuff only happened on screen, not in real life." That's when things got really weird. They heard footsteps behind them, spun around, nobody there. Then they heard footsteps in front of them, looked ahead, still nobody. They were completely alone except for the three of them, and Ryan had run off. So who the hell was making those sounds? Suddenly, someone tapped Tyler on the shoulder. He whipped around, expecting to see nothing, but there was Ryan standing right behind them. "Thank God, dude," Tyler exclaimed. "We were getting seriously worried about you." Ryan just smiled and said, "I already touched the grave, guys. I saw what's over there. It's really not that scary. You should come check it out." Tyler was relieved. "All right, you win, man. Ryan's the champion of this crazy challenge. Now let's get the hell out of here." But as they started to leave, Ryan stopped them. "Wait, hold up. You guys should really see this before we go. I found something incredible near that grave. Tyler, you need to get a photo of this. You're always into photography. Come on, let me show you." Ryan was acting totally normal, like nothing weird had happened at all. But he wasn't telling them exactly what he'd seen, just that it was amazing, and they had to see it. They walked deeper into the cemetery until they reached this particular grave. It was unlike any of the others. There was this tall stone pillar with a name carved into it, and the whole thing was surrounded by sharp iron gates that were locked tight. "All right, so what am I supposed to photograph?" Tyler asked. "You can't see it from out here," Ryan said. "You have to go inside the fence." "How the hell are we supposed to get inside? It's completely locked up." Ryan pointed to a small gap near the bottom of the fence. "Right there. We can all fit through that hole." So all three of them crawled through the gap and found themselves trapped inside this iron cage surrounding the grave. The moment they got inside, Jake started feeling uncomfortable. "Guys, I want to get out of here. It feels way too hot in here, and there's this awful smell, like something died recently." "Shut up. You're being paranoid," Ryan said dismissively. Tyler was getting impatient. "Just show me what I'm supposed to photograph so we can get out of here." "Don't worry about it," Ryan said. "Let me handle the camera." He took Tyler's camera and walked behind the grave monument. He was back there for several minutes without making a sound. Tyler and Jake were getting worried. "This dude is gonna get us all killed one day with his reckless behavior," Jake muttered. "But I'll give him this. He never abandons us, no matter what." "Ryan," Tyler shouted, "bring me my camera back. That thing was expensive." Ryan didn't respond, but after a moment, He appeared from behind the grave and handed the camera back to Tyler. "Here, check out this photo," Ryan said. Tyler looked at the camera's display, and his blood went cold. The photo showed Ryan's own dead body. When Tyler looked up from the camera, the Ryan who had been standing next to them was gone, completely vanished. In a panic, Tyler and Jake ran behind the grave monument, and there they found Ryan's actual body. He was lying there motionless, his eyes wide open in terror, like he'd seen something so horrifying it had literally scared him to death. No pulse, no breathing, he was gone. The two survivors were found the next morning by the cemetery's caretaker, who made his rounds every day around 5:30 a.m. He discovered Tyler and Jake inside the locked grave enclosure, both in a state of complete shock, their eyes wide open, mouths agape, lying next to Ryan's corpse. The caretaker managed to bring them back to consciousness and asked what had happened. After Tyler explained everything, the old man just shook his head sadly. "You're not the first ones this has happened to," he said. "The man buried in this grave was known for practicing dark magic when he was alive. People say his spirit still wanders this cemetery, and that's why we keep his grave locked up tight. We've had other incidents like this over the years. You see, the thing about Ryan was that he thought he was smarter than everyone else. He figured he could handle anything, go anywhere, do whatever he wanted. But here's the truth. When it comes to the world of the living and the dead, nobody's rules apply anymore. Once someone dies, you can't predict their psychology. Even the smartest person alive can't read the mind of a spirit or ghost. We have no idea what they're thinking or what they're capable of. Throughout this whole story, we never actually saw a ghost. It's all just a mystery. What really happened to Ryan? Did he see something that gave him a heart attack? Was it all just a coincidence? Or was there something supernatural at play? What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments. But before I end this video, I want to leave you with something important. Places get labeled as haunted for a reason. People don't just randomly decide to tank their property values by calling a place cursed. There's usually years of strange experiences and unexplained incidents that lead to that reputation. And one more thing, please, stop wandering around isolated places alone, especially at night. You might think you're by yourself, but there could be someone else there. Someone who isn't among the living anymore. Thanks for watching and sweet dreams.